Good morning, everybody. Mac here. Welcome back to the show. It is week 6. It is the final week of the Target Summer Geek Out, and we will be getting to that in just a moment. There's a few things that I want to go over first before we talk about the last week. Also, we're going to talk a little bit about Walmart Collectors Con coming up and just a smidge of Comic-Con, because both of those are happening next week. First off, going into weeks past of the Target Summer Geek Out, if you pre-ordered, I don't know if anybody else, how many other people have been experiencing this, but if you pre-ordered the animated series Batmobile from McFarlane Toys, which I believe was way back onto the first week, you may have noticed that it says back-ordered now. I know mine is, and it's been back-ordered by about a week. Now, the last time I ordered something from McFarlane Toys and it was back-ordered, it was the Collector's Edition, or the Collector's Series Wonder Woman, and Target had to pretty much cancel all of those orders because there wasn't enough stock to supply everybody that had ordered one. I think this is going to be different. I really feel like this is going to be different. I'm not real worried about it yet right now because, one, when the Wonder Woman was back-ordered, she was sold out, like, everywhere. The Batmobile isn't sold out. As a matter of fact, the pre-orders are still up. As a matter of fact, a lot of stuff that was sold out from McFarlane Toys, I shouldn't say a lot, but some things that were sold out from McFarlane Toys are back up for pre-order, including Jade. The only thing I don't think that went back up for pre-order was the Joker and Punchline 2-pack, and that's because that was a limited run because it was autographed by the artist. But the Batmobile is still up for pre-order. So the fact that it was back-ordered, but it's not sold out yet, I think that means that they're just selling more than maybe when they were expecting, so they have to increase the run. Although what an extra week has to do with that, I'm not really sure. But I don't feel like this is an instance where like these orders are going to get canceled. Because if it was coming down to that, I feel like they would have just shut down the pre-orders and said sold out. Also, this is a Target exclusive, so it's not like they're being sold in other places. I didn't think to check to see if they're being sold on the McFarlane Toys store website or not, but I'm pretty sure this is just a Target exclusive. They're not sold out, and being back ordered a week, I mean, it could even just be something as simple as like delivery has been held up. So there is that. Now, also about McFarlane Toys, earlier this week, they launched their first crowdfunding campaign for their McFarlane Toys, where is it at? Their McFarlane Toys Collectors Club drawing board. I got an email about that. I knew that they were doing this whole Collectors Club thing that's kind of a club, but not really. And I didn't realize that they were doing crowdfunding through it as well. And what they're coming out the gate with is superpowers. 2 vehicles, 4 figures. Aquaman and Black Manta with new deco, and Black Manta's, what are they calling it? Sea Saucer. And then the one that may be the driving force behind this Kickstarter is a Batman and Robin superpowers figure with new paint deco, and the, what are they calling it? Just the Bat Multicraft vehicle, which I guess it's supposed to be part hydrofoil, part sub, maybe part jet. It kind of looks like the Superpowers version of the Bat Boat from Batman Returns, if you remember that movie in the Wayback Machine. Let's see, 600,000 is the goal. 110,000, roughly 111,000 is what they're up to right now. So they're at about 18.5% fulfilled with 1,142 backers, 19 days to go. Kind of a slow start. Not gonna lie, but I don't believe it's dead in the water. I think there's a couple of things that are contributing to this slow start for it. One, there's no stretch goals, which I get it. I know stretch goals aren't the focus of crowdfunders like this, but it's something that we're so used to that when you see crowdfunding and it doesn't have stretch goals, it kind of takes you by surprise. What they have are just different tiers of getting either like just the figures or just the vehicles, or the figures and the vehicles, or like all in, all figures, all vehicles. There's one that throws in a t-shirt for some reason. And then there's one with an autographed card from McFarlane, which I could see some people being interested in that. Now, I think the other thing about this is that, well, no, let's go back to the stretch goals thing. That I think the reason that is contributing to this slow start is without stretch goals, there's really no incentive to jump in now. There's really no incentive to say, oh, we got to get people backing this now so we can hit those goals before the date. I have a feeling that this might be one of those things where, like, in 18 days, everybody's going to go, I'll do it. And then they'll opt in. I mean, that's a possibility. I think the other thing slowing this down is the figures aren't really new. They're just new deco. And the ones for Batman and Robin are Batman and Robin. And there have been a lot of Batman and Robin releases for superpowers. And when you look at the backers, I mean, there's a fair number that are doing like the $90 tier, the $100 tier. The $90 tier gets you the t-shirt. The $100 tier gets you the McFarlane autograph. But there's also a fair amount of like just $30 and $25 contributions as well, where that's really just getting you the vehicle or the vehicles. $25 for the Sea Saucer, $30 for the Bat Multicraft. I think another thing that's working against this is they're just static images. There's no images of like how many figures the Multicraft can carry. Can it fit both of them in it? Or is it just Batman? Or can you put Batman and Robin in it together? Also, there's no pictures of Black Manta and his sea sled, that it doesn't show you how he interacts with that. Does he get inside? Does he stand on top? Does he hook to the bottom? And there's no descriptions. There's just the static promotional shots. It wasn't rolled out very well, I don't feel. It just, I don't know, there's just something about it that, like, it feels very, like, first-time beginner. Like, this is how a Kickstarter, or even, like, back in the days of when GoFundMe did stuff like this, that, like, this is how it would have rolled out, like, 5 or 6 years ago. But in the crowd, like, especially with toy collectors, crowdfunding has become very much a big thing, that there are certain expectations of whenever you launch one of these. And this is a very remedial version of that. It just doesn't, I don't know, it's just not, it didn't excite me when I looked at it. And I'm a big DC fan. As a matter of fact, the only thing I was thinking was that Bat Multicraft, it has kind of a long canopy. It looks like it may only fit one figure. I actually started thinking, could I mod that to take a 1/12 figure? Like, could I modify that I could put my Mafex Batman in that? But I don't know, because there's just one shot. Hopefully on Instagram they'll start releasing other pictures of it, and that might spark some interest in it. Now, like I said, the target goal is 600,000, which when you say it like that sounds like a lot, but really when you look at the HasLab crowdfunders, it's not really that big of a target, because I believe, hold on, let me do some quick math here. Give me a minute, there will be a jump. Okay, yeah, the last HasLab that was the Star Wars Cantina, which did crowdfund, at its minimum, there were 2 price points, so we're going with the lower one of $400. But at its minimum, with 8,000 backers at $400, that comes out to $3,200,000 was the target price that they needed to hit, or the dollar value that they needed to hit. So that is much lower than what this is requiring. However, the difference between the HasLab and this is that each item was $400,000. Each item was $400, whereas like the most expensive price point they have for this is $100, which I think is going to cause it to stack a little slower. I haven't backed it, but I also don't think there's add-ons either. I think it's pretty much whatever you, whatever reward you choose, that's pretty much it. That you get that item and there's no add-ons for it as well. Yeah, so that's going to cause it to roll out slower too. I really think the lack of stretch goals is affecting this as well. Like I said, we'll probably see it. I shouldn't say probably, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see it if we see the number of backers increase drastically the closer we get to the deadline. Now that we've rambled about that enough, let's talk about the reason you're here, and that is the final week of the Target Summer Geek Out. And it kind of ended with a whimper, because what we got is this. 2 Pokemon sets from Mega. Now, don't get me wrong, and these are pixel art. That's all it is. That's what we're getting. And there's 2 videos that just basically show you putting this pixel art together. You hang it on the wall. It's cool, don't get me wrong. Like, and I know there's a lot of people that like stuff like this, but they're very small. And I don't know, I was just expecting something more for the closing week of this. And don't get me wrong, I like Mega. You've probably, if you've been watching the show for a while, you probably remember that's how I got my start, was the Masters of the Universe Mega Constructs. Hence, that's where Brick and Tire comes from. But this, for the final week, I was really expecting them to roll out something more, like maybe something more exclusive in like the cars that they've been putting out, the Hot Wheels Mega sets that they've been putting out. I don't know. This just doesn't seem like the way that you want to end the Summer Geek Out, especially going into what's coming up next week. Because next week, I mean, that's really all I have to say for Target. Like, we talked about the Batmobile being back-ordered. We talked about Jade going up for pre-order. There's still stuff, the Funko, and I believe the Hasbro stuff is still up for pre-order. And now we have this. So the Summer Geek Out is over. What'd you think of it? Hey guys, Mac from the future here. Just a real quick update that I missed while I was making this video in the morning. Please remember I do this like early in the morning for these videos. But a lot of the NECA product that was up for the Haulathon has been going up on Big Bad Toy Store this week. And I just noticed this morning while I was doing the editing that the one that everybody was worried about, the Jack Kirby figure, is up on Big Bad Toy Store today for sale as well. So if you missed the Jack Kirby figure for the Haulathon, because I know he went real fast and he's not in Target stores anymore, he is available on Big Bad. There will be a link to that in the description as well. And are you ready for next week? Because next week, not only do we have Comic-Con, which I won't be covering because I won't be there. I'll be watching the videos along with the rest of you. But what I will be taking care of is the 2-day Walmart Collectors Con event that is going up the same time as Comic-Con. Our wallets are going to take a beating next week. So the Walmart Collectors Con landing page has the previews that are up, and there is a lot to take a look at. There is some Marvel Legends. There is a lot of Mattel that we have the Turtles of Grayskull figures. We have Masters of the Universe figures, some deluxe packs, that red Horde Trooper with the red robot, or the red flying bot. We have, what was it, Necroconda, the translucent one. Yeah, Necroconda is going up. There are some exclusive Street Shark figures. The next wave of Street Sharks is going up next week as well on the Collector's Con, if you're into that. The only thing that I am excited about, and the only one that I will probably be pre-ordering, is this. The Falcon and Quiver Night Force 2-pack. You know I love me some Night Force. Really excited about this for a couple of reasons. One, it's more Night Force to add to the faction. Two, Falcon has a much better head sculpt with this 2-pack than with the single that we got. As a matter of fact, I can't even pull the single out to show you, because while I bought Falcon, I never took him out of the box because I was like, this thing is ugly. But this is cool. I like this head sculpt much better. I appreciate this. And I think even if you don't want to use him for Night Force, you could just pop this off, put it on the old Falcon, swap out the berets, you're good to go. I wonder if this means that they're going to start shifting to 2-packs for the factions, because Tiger Force had the 2-pack, then Slaughter's Marauders had the 2-pack, and now Night Force has a 2-pack. I wonder if that's the route they're going to go. And I don't really care if they do, to be completely honest, because they typically brought these out in 2s anyway, and instead of buying 2 figures separate, you can just get this 2-pack. Now, I know there are some people that would rather have like either just Falcon for just the head or just have Quiver for the new figure. And I get that they would be upset about this, but I really wonder if the majority of people are more up on just getting these 2-packs like this. I know I am, because I don't know, I would end up buying both of them anyway, and I like having everything like sort of packed in there together. They also seems like add a little bit more kibble, a little bit more extras to go along with it whenever they do stuff like this. So I'm totally down with something like this. Now, Falcon, he has a few extras added in that it looks like he has armor parts, like especially in the shoulder pads from the steel core figure. They also gave him a steel core helmet. And then the new figure, Quiver. She's okay. I always appreciate getting a new figure, and I don't think Quiver was part of the vintage line. I think she was a mail away, I think. I can't remember. I know she was part of Night Force. I know she came from one of the 3 3/4 lines. I can't remember if she came from the original vintage line or like the 25th anniversary that came after that. I don't know much about her in the old line, but in this version, there's a lot of reuse here, and I think some of it is a little too soon. That the body, the majority of the body, you can definitely see it in the arms and the legs, is Scarlet, basically. So this is going to be a third use of the Scarlet body, because we'll have Quiver, we'll have Scarlet, and then we'll have Glenda when the Dragonfly gets here. The head sculpt is new, but once again, she's a redhead, so it's basically Night Force Scarlet. She even has the crossbow. Her name is Quiver. There's one shot where you can see her pulling the crossbow bolt out of the quiver while she's aiming. So, I mean, it feels like they almost said, hey, let's do a Night Force version of Scarlet, and then they were like, no, let's make a new character. I think if they would have changed her hair color, that would have helped a lot to, like, not draw as obvious a comparison. The other thing about it is that, like, she's wearing Shooter's armor. And while, like, Shooter's armor is cool, and I get it, they don't have very much armor for female characters right now. When you put her and Shooter on Night Force together, I don't know, it's just going to look, although maybe being uniform for a military line like that isn't so bad. But she comes with a steel core helmet as well. Now, these two helmets, I think they sort of deviated from what they had done previously, or what they've been doing recently, rather, where the helmets are actually helmets that'll slide off and on the head sculpt. I think these are repaints of the steel core headpiece helmets. Like, I don't think they're helmets that are going to fit on the figures. I think you have to actually do a head swap to put them on, because those helmets look way too small to fit over top of a head sculpt. So I think it's going to be a excuse me. I think it's going to be a pop and swap situation right there. Now, also speaking of Walmart, also speaking of Night Force, that where is it? The Night Force Ram and Shockwave set has shipped for a lot of people. Mine is on the way. Hopefully I'll get it to be able to open it up and we can take a look at it next week. However, it's on sale already. Earlier this week, it was on sale for like $38. Now it's on sale on Walmart's site for $42. So the price has gone down. They still have product up for sale. It didn't sell out. And if you were on the fence about it, maybe now you might want to get one because the price is low. Or if you have one coming like I do and you get it and you say, hey, maybe I want another one of these, it'll be on sale at a lower price on Walmart's website. And that takes us into a little bit of Comic-Con. And I'm not really going to talk about Comic-Con because there's only a few things that at Comic-Con I'm really even going to care about. And that's obviously the G.I. Joe stuff, the Comic-Con exclusives. But on the 25th, I believe it's the 25th of next week, not only does the Walmart Collectors Con start, but we're going to get the video for the release of the HasLab. They're going to show it at Comic-Con, but we're going to get a video announcing the release of the HasLab, and then I believe on the 25th is when it's going to go live. And at this point, we pretty much know it's the Rattler. And I'm not sure how I feel about that. I got the Hiss Tank, I got the Dragonfly coming. I have the HMS to attach to the back of the HISS tank. I also have the Robo Skull on its way. We have the Vamp. The Stinger is on pre-order. And it's just like, where is all of my shelf space going to come from to put more of these vehicles up? And I'm not saying I'm not going to back the Rattler. I'm not saying that yet. It's also going to depend on the price. But realistically, how many more of these can we keep getting before we start running out of room? My issue with the Rattler is it's going to be very long and very wide because of the wingspan. That's going to take up a big footprint for what is probably going to be just 2 figures, the pilot and the turret gunner. Now, maybe if they do something that, like, once the wings fold up into the VTOL position, they can fold back and, like, streamline along the body of the jet, of the plane, that could be kind of cool to help reduce the amount of space. Because while the Dragonfly only seats 2 figures, it's very narrow and it has that flight stand, so it's not going to take up like that much space. I just feel like the Rattler, that's going to be a big footprint, even with a flight stand, that is just going to take up a lot of shelf space. And I don't know, like I said, we're going to have to see what the price point is. We're going to have to see what the unlocks are, what the stretch goals are. Because I feel like this is also going to be more like the Dragonfly, less like the HISS tank, where the HISS tank, not only did we get some figures with it, but we also unlocked a lot of kibble to go along with it. We unlocked the new armor plates. We unlocked the weapons that go with it. There was just a whole lot of stuff that was unlocked with the HISS tank, whereas the Dragonfly, everything you got was up front, and then you just unlocked more figures, which isn't bad, but I like it when you unlock more than just the figures. If it is the Rattler, we know it's the Rattler. The one thing that I'm really hoping we get, because there's going to be a female figure with it, and I was thinking about this, that it's probably either going to be a classified version of Raven, who was the female Night Raven pilot from that one episode of the cartoon. I can't remember what the episode was. So there's a possibility we could get Raven. Or, going with the comics and more mainline, I'm betting we will get a pilot version of Baroness. And what I'm hoping is that they use this body, this buck, this design right here, which I know this is a lot of reuse from the original Baroness, but doing this with the double jointed elbows, the metallic armor, the metallic boots, all in black, in her traditional black. And then you could either do a head sculpt with like a headset built on, or a head sculpt with all of her hair pulled up into a flight helmet type thing. Because then if you have this, or if you have the original Baroness, you could even do like head swaps to utilize like the head swaps from like previous, the head sculpts from previous figures, or however you would want to do it. Because I would love to have this one in black. This is the one that came with the Crimson Strike Force, and the original one that we had, the black one with the single jointed elbows, while it looks good, was kind of useless for like holding weapons. This one I would love to see in black, just because of the double jointed elbows and the metallic armor. And I believe that is all we have to talk about today. Summer Geek Out kind of went out with a whimper. The Collector's Con is going up next week, right along with Comic-Con. So there's going to be a lot going on next week. We have the McFarlane crowdfunder. We have new Night Force going up for pre-order. Check out the Walmart Collector's Con landing page. Everything we talked about, including the McFarlane crowdfund, if you want to see it, will be all linked in the show notes down below. Check that out. Honestly, leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about McFarlane's drawing board crowdfund. Why do you think it hasn't like really taken off? I do think it's a combination of its figures that we've seen before, it's a lack of photos to really know what we're getting, and the lack of stretch goals. I think all of these things have added up to it not really just taking fire right out the gate. Hello, before you click away, please remember to do all the YouTube things like share, comment, and subscribe. If you already did subscribe, big thanks to you. If you like the show and you want to help the channel grow, please consider becoming a YouTube member or a monthly coffee subscriber, where for $1 a month, you can get access to member benefits, such as the monthly members exclusive video. This month, it is the Fig 016 scale Cobra Commander. So until next time, my friends, play well, stay safe, stay healthy, and as always, thank you for watching.